Steps from the Sea, the Camden Opera House, a restored Victorian theater, has served Mid-Coast Maine since 1894. Before the pandemic, the Opera House had reinvented itself as a vibrant modern venue offering music, dance, film, theater, conferences, and more. As we wait to once again fill our 485 seats, we're keeping the spirit alive with no audience, free live-streamed events funded by your donations to our Community Arts Fund, found on our website. These events are archived and available on the Camden Opera House Facebook page and YouTube channel. And now, from our house to yours.
Welcome to the Camden Opera House. I'm Dave Morrison, Opera House Manager. Tonight's soundcheck program, like all of our free live stream events, is supported by your donations to the Community Arts Fund. Your generosity has allowed us to book the very best Maine performers, even while not being able to sell tickets. You can donate at CamdenOperaHouse.com, and if you have already, thank you so much. Tonight's concert is sponsored by our friends at the Mainstay Inn, who've been one of our most generous supporters. I want to thank Peter and Janice Kesser for always being there for us and supporting live performances in Camden. Finally, I want to thank the Camden Opera House staff, Juniper Purinton and Dagny Ernest, the Opera House Committee, and all the folks who do the unseen, important work that makes this happen. Tonight, Judd Caswell is an accomplished singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. But what's interesting to me is what you can learn about a musician by what other musicians say. And after quite a number of people said, you know, you really ought to get Judd, I realized that I really needed to get Judd. So please join me in welcoming Judd Caswell.
Thanks so much, Dave. He tore the gravel up as he parked his Cadillac. He said it was my lucky day. He clapped me on the back. He told me that his company had authorized a proposition. He figured that the cash would mean so much to a man in my position. Oh, I ain't much to look at. Don't have much to show. It's just this junk shop where I'm selling bikes beside the road. And still I never had no use for these out-of-staters who come to buy our neighborhoods and then decide we're not their kind of neighbors. They may say it's a price we have to pay. You gotta watch your home divvied up and sold away. But I can't stand to see that money waved around as if everyone and everything's for sale in my hometown. I heard he called his lawyers. I heard he called the town. I heard he figured if my bikes were gone that he wouldn't hang around. So he bought them all from me, threw them on a truck. He paid his money on the nail and drove off laughing, wishing me good luck. They may say it's a price we have to pay. You gotta watch your home divvied up and sold away. But I can't stand to see that money waved around as if everyone and everything's for sale in my hometown. hometown. The Wall Street Journal and the prep school education teach you nothing about the landfill or the transfer station, and where the good stuff goes when it gets thrown away, and where I went to pick up 50 old familiar bicycles today. They may say it's a price we have to pay. You gotta watch your home divvied up and sold away. But I can't stand to see that money waved around as if everyone and everything's for sale. As if everyone and everything's for sale. 'Cause not everyone and everything's for sale in my hometown. Thanks so much. So that's not really a song about, well, it's kind of a song about my hometown. It's a song about my parents' hometown, which is one of the things that I love about coming up here and just seeing this part of the state, this part of the world, being up in Camden. I was born in Belfast, not too awfully far away from here, and grew up in Morrill, which maybe some people close to here actually know that town. Not a lot of people up Brunswick way. I live in Brunswick now. We moved all the way south. We went south when I was in elementary school. But it always feels like coming home to be in this part of the state. And it makes me think of my grandparents, my aunts and uncles. And it got me thinking about this song. This is a song I wrote just last year, but I'd been thinking about it for a long time. And it's based on a true story. The opening line of the song has a little anecdote about my grandparents, and it's a true story. And it's funny, as a kid, it's a little detail about them that I always knew. It's one of those things I don't remember ever learning. I don't remember hearing it for the first time. Nana was a registered Republican, and Pappy was a Democrat for life. You never heard a word of anger pass between that husband and his wife. People kind of wondered why they bothered to even take the time to put on coats and go out to the schoolhouse on a Tuesday night to cancel out their votes. It used to be there was a time we could agree to disagree. It was before the slide into the Great Divide. Now every word I hear about my country feels like gasoline poured on a flame. Seems like everybody's picking sides and picking fights and calling names. Everywhere I look I see the anger. Every conversation fills with trolls. Everybody knows the party lines. We wave our signs, we play our roles. But it used to be this land of us and them was made for you and me. Guess that died in the Great Divide. Yes, I know you didn't start this fight, and I've heard the other side is more to blame. And I know that there's a wrong and right, and we can't afford to lose this game. We're all losing just the same. 'Cause we get kind of stupid when we're angry, It's easier to hurt a herd that hates. They play us like a sucker on the line each time we rise to click the bait. Oh, but there's a simple, hard solution, older than the oldest grudge you've nursed. Someone's gonna have to lay their sword down, but someone's gonna have to do it first. And it seems to me that we've forgotten who's a friend or enemy. And you'll recall that a house divided surely is gonna fall. Fall for spite and fall for pride into the great divide. And Anna was a registered Republican, Pappy was a Democrat for life. I was telling Dave before the show, it's nice to get to play for chairs again. It's been a long time since I've played for this many chairs. It's been a strange year. I'm sure it's been a strange year for all of you. Music changed a lot. I'm so glad that the Camden Opera House has found a way through, and they've had somebody like Juniper who could figure out this technology and make this kind of stuff possible. So really appreciate the chance to be here and be playing for you. I've been playing out of my basement. I sort of figured out the tech myself so that I could make videos and share music. I want to play a song for you off my latest record. My latest record is called Live at the Seagull Shop. Back when live music with people around was a thing, I recorded a record of a lot of my songs and some Irish songs at a wonderful place that I play. I've played for more than 10 years down in Pemaquid, down by the lighthouse there. And just in March, it went out to radio stations last March, and it was the #1 folk record for March on the Folk Alliance International charts, which was really exciting and was just maybe not the right time to be hitting the charts just when everything's shutting down. But I think part of the reason that people gravitated to it in that moment is that there's a lot of songs on there about Maine, and I think last March there were a lot of people who were really wanting to move to Maine. I think there were people who wanted to be there. And there's a lot about Maine on the record, and there's a lot about home on the record, just a sense of wanting to appreciate little things. And this is one of the songs that, I don't know, I found myself playing a lot over this last year of isolation. It's just a song about my backyard. They say write what you know. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away, slide away. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away home. 'Cause the sunset through the birches paints a picture on the wall. The dandelions are closing and the hermit thrush calls. So Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Baby in the bathtub, splash away, splash away. Baby in the bathtub, splash the whole floor. And mama in the kitchen, sing away, sing away. Mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? 'Cause there's moonlight on the window and the chicken's home to roost. This train is bound for bedtime, so shake that red caboose. And baby in the bathtub, splash away, splash away. And mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? brown bat in the starlight, sweep away, swoop away. Brown bat in the starlight, dancing on a breeze. And there's peepers in the frog pond, they peep away, squeak away. Peepers in the frog pond are singing through the trees. And there's a barred owl in an oak tree like the ghost of Robert Frost. He's asking about the yellow wood, the two roads, and the cost. While the peepers in the frog pond peep away, squeak away, and a brown bat in the starlight is dancing on a breeze. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Heard the first peepers just last night. Have you guys heard peepers up this way yet? You guys got frogs out in the woods? We were out at the high school down in Brunswick. I got a nice little frog pond there. It's one of the best features of the school. If you like frogs as much as I do. I'm gonna play a new song for you. Which is always, I don't know, sometimes a mistake. sometimes it's a high wire act, playing a brand new tune. This was a hard song to write. This is another song about, it's kind of about it's kind of about pandemic changes maybe. It's kind of about changes in just how we talk to each other, a little bit. But it's a song for it's about having a hard time talking to friends. That's a tough one. Well, at the bottom of the bottle, we were toasting joie de vivre, celebrating some days and the music we would weave. Looking through that amber, there was magic in the words we raised in songs that no one heard. Young enough to still not see the seams. At the bottom of the bottle, there were dreams. And at the bottom of the bottle, there was always you and me, laughing off our differences and who we used to be. Someone could play Sancho while the other one was Don, until the windmills all were gone. Neither of us knowing where it ends, but at the bottom of the bottle we were friends. But now it seems the future's fading darkly in your glass. You curse the dreams and plans you made in the summers of your past. I guess this means the world we hated won this one at last. Or was I kidding myself all along? Well, at the bottom of the bottle, there's a thing that you won't name. Sorrow in the smoke you pour, and anger in the flame, and a smile upon your face that never reaches to the eyes that you keep rolling, until I realize that everything I say now isn't right, and the bottom of the bottle is a fight. 'Cause now it seems the future's fading darkly in your glass. You curse the dreams and plans you made in the summers of your past. I guess this means the world we hated won this one at last. Or was I kidding myself all along? At the bottom of the bottle now we ask, is that the time? As mornings come in merciless and days ahead to climb. But friendship's like a toothache that I just can't leave alone, so I don't want to pack and go back home, wondering why we're doing this again, if the bottom of the bottle is just the end. 'Cause now it seems The future's fading darkly in your glass. You curse the dreams and plans you made in the summers of your past. I guess this means the world we hated won this one at last. Or was I kidding myself all along? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was not a song I wanted to write. Here's one that, do we have any banjo allergies in the house? Are we safe to play this? I wrote this song a few years ago, and I thought I was writing a kid's song. I thought this was going to be a kid's song. But I think kid songs, in this case, I was just writing a song to try to remind myself of something that I think I should have known as a kid, or maybe the kids have a better chance of understanding. This banjo is a long neck banjo. This is not an optical illusion. This is more banjo than you should normally expect to see hanging around somebody's neck. And it's a Pete Seeger design. Pete Seeger, I guess, was story I heard anyway was that Pete Seeger was working on a song and he needed more notes, so he just cut the headstock off his banjo and he stuck a few more frets on and had a friend help him reattach everything, I think. And then because everybody wanted to be Pete Seeger, everybody started playing these long neck banjos. So I hope there's a little bit of Pete Seeger in this song. It's called "That's the Way We Climb." Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain, it seems too steep to climb. It takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of time. Put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Looking at the sadness and it seems too deep to mend. Look into the sadness and it seems too deep to mend. Look into a stranger's eyes until you find a friend. And put one hand in the other, one hand in the other, one hand in the other. That's the way we mend. And looking at our differences, it seems too hard to love. Looking at our differences, it seems too hard to love. But everyone's the same about the most important stuff. Listen to each other, listen to each other, listen to each other. That's the way we love. And looking at yourself, seems there's nothing you can do. Looking at yourself, it seems there's nothing you can do. But if you do the best you can, well, I will do it too. And we'll lean upon each other, lean upon each other, lean upon each other. That's what we can do. And looking at the distance and it seems too far to go. Looking at the distance and it seems too far to go. The road that leads to justice may be longer than we know. I put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That's the way we go. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. It takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of time. Put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Put a 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. I think one of the superpowers a lot of us musicians have developed over the course of this separate time and doing these things online is that we can actually now hear you singing along when we're just live streaming out to your room and you don't even have a microphone turned on. So thank you for singing along to the end of that song. You know who you are. That song, as a Pete Seeger inspired song, that's one that you absolutely have to do a little singing along to. So I should introduce this instrument. This is an unusual instrument, almost a unique instrument. This is called a bell cittern, although I call mine a boat cittern because it's made out of teak. And this was made just a few miles away from here in Rockport by a great guy and musician and luthier named Nick Apollonio. Nick was here playing some of his songs and some traditional songs just a few months ago for this same concert series. I believe it was this same concert series. And a few years ago, I grew up listening to Gordon Bach, who is going to be here at the end of April. Is that right? The very first in-person show, if I'm remembering correctly. This is going to be. Did you say it's April 26th? 23rd. April 23rd, Gordon Bach is going to be here. It'll still be streaming, too, so people can watch it. Or you may be one of the lucky few, if it's not sold out yet. Not yet, so call now. Oh, my gosh, come see Gordon Bach on April 23rd. This is your chance. But I grew up listening to Gordon. It's funny. He was one of my favorites, probably my favorite from the ages of I'm going to say 3 to 5, because my mom was a huge fan and at some point made the mistake of teaching my sister and I how to work the record player, and we wrecked those Gordon Bach records, putting them on that record player. You can imagine a 3-year-old just wanting to hear it again, and it's just put it right back to the beginning. But we loved them. Oh, what a voice. What songs. And so, playing an instrument, Gordon designed this with Nick. It just means so much to me, being from Maine and growing up listening to that music. But this is a strange instrument. It's a 10-string instrument, which if you're a guitarist, that's 4 strings too many or it's 2 strings too few. Either way, it's not going to play the way you expect. So I took it home ecstatic about just the sound it makes, just sort of strumming it like that. And then I got home, and I sort of started asking myself what I was going to do with it. And I tried to figure out if any songs that I knew could be played on it. And I knew I wanted to learn a bunch of new songs. A lot of Irish songs is what I wanted to do. So I learned how to do new songs on it. But there was this one song that I was writing. It was a song about the Androscoggin River, which flows between kind of my 2 hometowns of Topsom and Brunswick. I grew up went to school in Topsom as a kid. Live in Brunswick now. But actually, oh my gosh, we're moving back to Topsom. This is a whole nother story. Maybe we'll get back to that. But the Androscoggin River runs between them, and I was working on this song, and I had the song written, had the words, had the chords, knew kind of what I wanted it to sound like. I could not make it sound like I wanted it to sound, because apparently the guitar has 4 too few strings to do just exactly the sound I wanted. As soon as I picked up this instrument and tried to play this song, it all just sort of fell into place. The Androscoggin River is staggering and stumbling, tumbling down the rapids through town, mumbling and shouting out the sorrows he's been trying to drown. Ever since the ice broke, he's been out on a bender, muddier and meaner every day, tripping up the riverbanks and kicking down whatever's in his way. Set 'em up, knock 'em down. That's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. But I still remember the year this old river flooded out the old abandoned mill. All the boys were drinking Narragansett and watching from the hill. As the Androscoggin River climbed that foundation and tore out every scrap they left behind. I guess he used to work there, and when they left, he didn't take it kind. Set 'em up, knock 'em down. That's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Well, the Androscoggin River was a hell of a worker, and he carried this whole county on his back. Now he's just a drunkard singing shanties on the wrong side of the track. And the new people frown and they hold their noses. Their little ones throw rocks and run away. You should have seen him the day he dragged that mill down to the bay. Set 'em up, knock 'em down. That's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Set 'em up, knock 'em down. That's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Watch the fall. Watch the fall. Thanks so much. It looks like I'm digging for gold on the top of this instrument, doesn't it? Well, I feel like I'm finding it, but I'm looking forward to the day this looks like Willie Nelson's guitar. There's definitely I think I'm gonna get through the top. Nick doesn't want me to. He doesn't want me to claw all the way through the top of that instrument for some reason. But I feel like any mark put on a musical instrument in the honest and earnest pursuit of making music is a badge of honor. Which is why none of my instruments have good resale value. So let's see. Oh yeah, I want to play this tune. So my first instrument is saxophone. I started playing saxophone when I was just a kid. And I switched to guitar because you can't sing through saxophone and you can't really write songs and sing them like that. But I still went through this time where I just loved jazz, Sonny Rollins and Lee Konitz, and man, some of my very favorite stuff. And of course, one of my favorite musicians is Paul Simon, one of my favorite songwriters. Another one I just grew up listening to. And so whenever, so I figured I ought to figure out something a little bit jazzier. So I figured this out. Started messing with these chords. And all I had was the chords. And then I thought, this just sort of sounds like this could be just sort of an uncomplicated love song. And I was like, I've never written an uncomplicated love song. I was like, my poor wife. So I thought I should try to just sing a little jazzy number. Well, do you mind if I stare while you let down your hair? Just stand right there for a while. Where's the fire? What's the rush? Hush. It won't be now, forever. And I know that it's late, and the morning won't wait. There's so much on your plate these days. But the kids are in bed. Enough said. It won't be now, forever. And I know I don't know, and I see I can't see the forest for the trees. You might say I don't say all the things I might say, but please, won't you give me a sign? You've been reading my mind. You've been doing it fine for so long. Oh, my love, oh, my friend, let's pretend that we've got nothing but time. It won't be now, forever. Thanks so much. I'm gonna grab this capo. What to say about this song? Wrote this for a really good friend. Every so often in the middle of this last year, actually right away last year, one of my first thoughts was I just felt really lucky. All of the work that I had scheduled went away, and I sort of knew it was going to be fine. And I just knew that was not the case for everybody. And so all over the course of the year, I just kept reminding myself and kept touching base with how lucky I was. Lucky to be such an introvert that being locked away at home was actually coming out of it is going to be harder, I think, for me in some ways than going into it was. But it's easy to get wrapped up in your own things, especially I've got kids at home, and it's not easy for teenagers. Not easy for teenagers to be away. But every so often you kind of come face to face with some of the challenges that other people are dealing with, and I can't imagine it. So this is a song that I wrote just trying to just honor something that my friend Rennie was going through. So this is for Rennie and Ben. 40 years since that tractor started, the barn fell down and they hauled her out for parts, and I took her home to see what might be done, and if a stubborn man could make her run with a drop of diesel, a little oil, weeks of patience and days of toil. And when I hear her running good as new now, something sparks inside me, thinks of you, and I go out in the woods to work on the land with my hands when I can't cross the spans of my heart. Out in the woods, trying to piece back together these days that are falling apart. Out in the woods, you can see how this looked before all. The trees the wind blew down can't even fall to the floor. They got tied in tangles halfway down, and they can't see the sky, and they can't touch the ground. And lately that's a thing I understand, so I drive the tractor down and take a saw in my hands, 'cause I'm tied in tangles since you died, and I can't feel the ground, and I can't see the sky, so I go out in the woods, hauling out deadfalls to make way for stone walls to mark where you lie. Out in the woods, working the land while I can, knowing someday I'll rest by your side. Out in the woods. Out in the woods, cutting a hole in the sky for the sun and the rain, and I'm out in the woods to hallow this ground while the wind in the crowns cries the sound of your name. Out in the woods. Thank you. Thanks so much. I could play this song for friend too. This is one that was just hiding in this instrument when I brought it home 10 or 11 or maybe even 12 years ago now when I first brought this instrument home. This little melody was just in it. And since I looked for words for a long time for this. And a friend of mine figured out that the song doesn't have words, and so I stopped looking. The song's called Pemaquid Sunset, and it's a song, I always play it when I'm at the seagull shop down in New Harbor by Pemaquid Lighthouse. I always play this song around sunset. You can picture them on the prettiest nights. You can picture the moon coming up over Monhegan, painting that little silver band, little silver bridge out across the water to the island. And this is one that goes out to my friends Heidi and Michael. It's from Michael. Seems a sacrilege to throw banjo into the silence after that song, but I'm going to do it. You guys, do you have the fortitude to hear one more banjo song tonight? This is my Zen banjo mountain song. I wrote this for a church service a friend of mine was speaking at, and she was comparing her experience of hiking in the Sierra Nevadas to her experience going on Zen retreats. And so naturally, banjo. Going to the mountain to smell the mountain pine. Going to the mountain to feel the mountain time. Rock and wind around me. I'm gonna make the mountain mine. Standing on the mountain, up in the mountain sky. Standing on the mountain, beautiful and wild. Standing in the sunshine, peaceful as a child. And I'm halfway there, I am halfway there. Well, I'm halfway there, I am halfway there. 'Cause until I come on home with something I can share, I'm only halfway there. To the mountain with trouble on my mind. Going to the mountain to see if I can find a place to lay my burden and leave it all behind. Standing on the mountain will it set my spirit free. Standing on the mountain to see if I can see. And when there's no more mountain, when there's no more me, I will be halfway there. I'll be halfway there. I'll be halfway there. I'll be halfway there. 'Cause until I come on home with something I can share, I'm only halfway there. Yes, until I come on home with something I can share, I'm only halfway there. Thanks so much. I suppose I should pause for station identification and just say that my name is Judd Caswell, and if you want to hear some more music, I have one of those .com things that goes right after my name. JuddCaswell.com will get you all kinds of music. I've got a YouTube channel where last year for all this summer I was doing a video every day, every weekday. So I have 100 something videos. That tune is on my Live at the Seagull Shop, which is on Bandcamp, and do make sure to. It's go say so, and the other .com that they need to go to is Camden Opera House. Yeah, CamdenOperaHouse.com. And I'm sure that you can find ways to make some donations to Camden Opera House and keep these music series going. So here's another one of my pandemic songs. I was reading a book by Anne Lamott. Anne Lamott is she's brilliant. Hilarious. She's the most irreverent, reverent person. That's her. That's if there was, she is irreverent reverence is her. Anyway, the beginning of one of her chapters, she shared a poem, this Rumi poem, and it blew me away how much it spoke to that moment. This is a 1,000-year-old poem, something like that. I mean, 700 or 800 years. It's an old poem. Persian, right? A Sufi mystic, Rumi. But it felt like it felt like it had been written for the pandemic. So I decided Rumi probably wouldn't mind if I took the liberties of making it rhyme and singing it. And it's called Keep Walking. Keep walking, on you go. Though the final destination is never ours to know. Seeing through the distance, well, that's not for you and me. And it's not a place to get to, it's a place to be. Move within, not in fear. And don't you listen to those voices whisper in your ear. Today we wake alone, just like every other day, empty and frightened, and with a choice to make, to keep walking. May the beauty we love be what we do. May the love that we find see us through, till the beauty we love proves this thing we've found, that there's at least 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Raise your voice, find your song. Let your heart sing soft and gentle, or loud and strong. Study in the world, that can only go so far. Sometimes you gotta reach up, take down your guitar, to keep walking. May the beauty we love be what we do. May the love that we find see us through, till the beauty we love proves this thing we've found. There's at least 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. So keep walking. Thank you so much. I want to leave you with one more tune. This is a song I've been thinking a lot about this year as well. This is a song I wrote for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick, Maine. You're going to hear that referred to as UU. UU means Unitarian Universalist. And that church burned down in 2011, June 6. And I wrote a song called When the UU Burned Down. I wrote it that day. And that song became part of the fundraising efforts, and part of the kind of a little bit of a theme song for the church for a while. And then when the church opened up again, when the new building was built, the minister, Sylvia Stalker, asked me if I might write a song for the dedication of the building. And the song is inspired by the bell that was saved from the destroyed church, from the wreckage of the church. And what was discovered about the bell in that time was that there was writing on the side of it. Nobody ever knew. Nobody had ever gotten up into the belfry and been able to see that there was writing on the side of that bell, but there was. And what the bell said was, "Ring joy and peace to the world." 3 times a day on the main street of Brunswick, that old Universalist bell rang out the morning, the noon, and the evening. All of the town knew it well. Old Colonel Dennison, he sent back the first one. He said that the tone wasn't pure, and we Universalists, so few in number, have got to sing out if we want to be heard, ringing joy and peace to the world. Ring joy and peace to the world. Years later, one October evening was lit by a terrible fire, and the next Sunday morning the bell lay in ruins in the ashes and bones of the spire. And the years had been hard as those black walnut pews, and the church could have easily died. But they rolled up their sleeves, picked up the pieces, they recast the bell, and right there on the side said, "Ring joy and peace to the world. Ring joy and peace to the world." And that bell rang in change for 125 years. Rang out freedom with a beautiful noise. And it rang out in hope, and it rang out in sorrow, and rang till the next fire took its voice. Now some folks will tell you the church is so stubborn, we don't even know when we're beat. And some folks will tell you the church has got gumption, know how to land on our feet. All that I know is the work was unfinished, and we all felt the need to go on and build a home here for bringing that bell back to ringing. Our voices still singing out loud with the song, ringing joy and peace to the world. Ring joy and peace to the world. Ring joy and peace to the world. Ring joy and peace to the world. Thanks so much. Thank you. Have a great night.